What's up, guys? This is former Rookie of the Year, All-Pro and two-time Pro Bowl running back Clint Portis, and you are listening to the Benched Podcast.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Bench Podcast. My name is Joey, joined as always now for 137 episodes.
137.
By my brother co-host Angel. What's up, man?
What's up? 137. It's flown by.
Yeah, 137. Creeping up on 200. We'll hit that this season.
Yeah, you know what? I could say it's far away. We hit 100 very fast. I'm not so like I'm very aware. These go by quick, especially when the season starts.
I mean, 37 episodes now. I mean, that's pretty wild.
Most of those are off-season stuff, so that was some. I don't even remember some stuff we talked about.
But we did, and we gave you an episode like we promised.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Bench Podcast. This is for Friday, July 19th, 2024. On today's episode, we're going to get into the latest news from around the league. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of drama, especially surrounding receivers, namely in San Francisco. And then we're going to continue our preview of the divisions, going division by division. We covered the NFC North on Tuesday. Today, we're going to cover the NFC South, a division that's in flux. That's young, or should be getting young, but is not getting young. Interesting. A lot of storylines, and of course, Kirk Cousins has joined the
fray.
The fray now, and
in the dirty South,
and is looking to flip this thing on its head. So looking forward to talking about the NFC South today. The NFL is 49 days away until Week 1.
48 if they hear this.
40, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
48 when you're hearing this. If you're watching here on YouTube, welcome to the channel.
Hi.
Subscribe, turn on those notifications. We've been getting so much good feedback. Had some good conversations today on YouTube with some of you. You guys are awesome. We love our Bench Warmer family. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, all those things. And join up before the NFL season starts, because you're going to want to make sure you have found a good, solid NFL podcast. So why not?
I feel like
it costs you nothing.
Costs you nothing. You just hang out with us three times a week. Just a bunch of idiots talking football. This is how America's supposed to work.
It's good times.
It's good times.
Listen also on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts. We're on those platforms as well.
Yes.
And then follow the show between the show on Instagram, X, and TikTok. Search at Benched Show to find that. Obviously, today we're going original flavor.
Yeah.
Just me and Aiden.
Original recipe.
In the studio. The boys over the producer desk both had stuff come up. We had to get the episode done because we're busy this weekend. So due to schedules, we are putting this out today, just me and Ainge. But we did this for 100 episodes, so I think we're good.
And if you joined us for that, hit the like button because those are fun too.
And honestly, not to toot our own horns, but I guarantee it's better now.
Yeah.
I guarantee it's much better now.
Sound quality and behind the scenes wise, it's a lot better.
Yeah. I want to once again urge you guys all to go to benchshow.com and check out everything we have going on there, and of course sign up for the weekly email. That's the Bench report that we'll be sending out every single weekend. Articles on also the Bench Beat for articles on fandom, fantasy, and all things NFL. I did want to make a little special announcement that I announced last show. If you are interested in joining the Bench Warmer Fantasy Football Leagues, we ran one last year, super fun. If you're interested in joining those this year, all you have to do is go to benchshow.com and go down to the email chain, sign up, email newsletter sign up, I think that's called, and put in your email, and we will reach out to you when the season gets closer and place you in a league, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We'll all be in leagues, everyone on the team, even DA and Terrell.
Yep.
They told me they'll be on teams as well. So looking forward to playing fantasy with all you guys. We love fantasy football for sure.
Yeah. It's I listen to a lot of podcasts about fantasy football now. It's a full go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to win this shit.
I got some quick questions for you.
Hit me with them.
Okay, so we of course are I'm full blown into fantasy football. I'm back.
Yes.
The
boys are back.
So I have some keep, trade, cut Dynasty version questions for you.
Dynasty version. This is very different from regular league. This is looking more
for Dynasty, keeper leagues, whatever you want to call it. I understand there's a different, but
a real quick question for you.
Yeah.
Would you if you had like a league that wanted like, hey, let's go for a decade, would you say let's do redraft, or would you say Dynasty now that you played both?
Dynasty.
Right? Isn't it? It feels like you
Dynasty,
could construct a team that's like
Yeah,
100% yours.
It feels like the next step to everything I did on Madden growing up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'm actually working on an article about that.
Oh, there you go. That's called a tease, my friend. Or a tease.
Okay, let's get to this keep trade cut.
Okay.
My first one is a group of young players who are looking to make their mark and really haven't yet.
Okay.
Is Kendry Miller, running back for the Saints, Jamison Williams, of course, the first-round receiver for the Lions, and Wan'Dale Robinson of the Giants. Keep, trade, cut those three guys.
I'm going to cut Kendrick Miller. No, Wan'Dale Robinson. Excuse me, Wan'Dale Robinson. A lot of mouths there to feed. Low key, a lot of mouths to feed there.
Yeah.
Jalen Hyatt's still a thing there. Slayton's still there, and obviously Malik Neighbors.
Sterling Shepard also still.
Sterling Shepard. I don't know why he's on the team.
Is Slayton still there?
Yeah, Slayton. Yeah, that team still has like 5 or 6 wideouts that they like.
Awesome.
I'm gonna trade Kendrick Miller because he's kind of guy like you can find someone in your league who like really believes in Kendrick Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna keep James Williams because 1, he's on the best offense of those 3.
Yeah.
And 2, the upside is just kind of there. Like, he won't probably not a wideout 2, probably a nice flex option like dart throw, deep ball, whatever.
I think for me, I am also cutting Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah.
I am trading Jamison Williams. I think he actually is going to fetch a little more on the open value because he's a Lion, because they didn't go get another receiver, and then they lost Josh Reynolds. I think he might fetch a little more, and I just don't think he's ever going to turn into anything more than like what Deshaun Jackson was at his height. That's like the very best he can get, which is something I'm not terribly interested in.
Yeah.
And Kendrick Miller, we're gonna talk about the Saints today. There's not a lot of young guys in the Saints, so eventually these young guys are gonna get their shot by mere father time taking its toll.
Folks, did you hear what just happened? I told you a minute ago you'd find someone who believes in Kendrick Miller. I just found one.
I wouldn't trade for Kendrick Miller though. Like I would not. Like I wouldn't give much. Like if I had him, I'd keep him. And I think I'd rather go trade for Jameson Williams.
But would you say that you're a Kendrick Miller believer though? Just not aside from the trading thing.
I don't know. I'm totally open to him not being good enough to stay in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm more of the belief that he's going to get his shot.
Yeah.
At that Saints backfield. So, anyways, that's where I'd be with that. Let's go with the veteran question here now. Keep, trade, cut Joe Mixon, George Kittle, and Devin Singletary. Now, this is a dynasty league, so we're thinking long term here, but we're also thinking I also want to win a chip this year. Those 3 guys: Mixon, Kittle, Singletary.
I'm cutting Singletary. Dynasty 1 year. They're gonna draft running back next year.
AJ's a Singletary guy.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, for this year, I don't know. They're not gonna score a lot of points. I'm trading them. I'm trading them.
You're cutting him.
I'm cutting them. I'm cutting them. I am trading Mixon. Mixon, you can find it's a little sex appeal there. Like, he's with the Texans now. He's with the fun offense. He's CJ Stroud. All that. You find someone.
Any temptation to keep him because he signed a 3-year deal?
No, because George Kittle, Aiyuk, I don't know what's happened there.
Yeah.
Debo's getting a little older. Kittle feel like oddly enough, he'll age a little bit better than Debo. Kittle, yeah. Kittle's having, and this year, he's going to have a nice year. If the Aiyuk drama keeps up, he's going to have a great year.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I'm keeping Kittle, trading Mixon, and Singletary. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
2 more here. Keaton Mitchell, Luke Musgrave, Chase Brown. Keep, trade, cut. Mitchell, Musgrave, Chase Brown. Let me go first this time. I am going to keep Luke Musgrave because I don't know who Jordan Love's guy is yet, and I believe in Jordan Love. And I believe, at some point he's going to pick a guy, and I just feel like the tight end isn't necessarily competing with all those receivers.
Yeah.
So he might just have his own role with that really good quarterback. So I'm keeping Musgrave. I'm actually going to trade. This is rough.
Easy.
I'm going to trade Chase Brown because I feel like he has some hype going on right now. Keaton Mitchell, I'm not sure what you're getting for him with that ACL with Derrick Henry there this year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cut Keaton Mitchell, even though, ask me this right before he gets injured, and it's easy. But yeah, I'm gonna trade Chase Brown.
Yeah, if you just put them side by side, I think if you were to say who at the end of the season would get more carries, it'd be Chase Brown. Yeah. Keaton Mitchell, Lamar Jackson's still up there with Derrick Henry for their best running back, and then you have Derrick Henry still.
Right.
So how much? What's that third of the pie look like for a Ravens offense who says like, they paid a big name running back, they're gonna run the big name running back, and they also have Justice Hill who performed well last year. So
I'm interested to see, and I won't go too much of a rabbit hole because we have a lot to cover today, but Keaton Mitchell, I think if he comes back healthy next year, fully healthy, year away from the ACL, and they still have Derrick Henry rolling, which I fully expect him to be. They're going to massively lead the league in rushing.
Yes.
With Keaton Mitchell, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson.
I mean, is there any?
It's going to be wild.
What's the situation where they don't lead the league in rushing this year? Like they're going to lead the league in rushing.
Yeah, probably.
It's because Lamar's going to go for his 700.
O-line does have questions.
There's been battle lines who led the league in rushing, but yeah, either way.
Let's move forward here. Aaron Jones, Javonte Williams, and Zach Moss.
Don't make me do it.
Three running backs we all love. Let me go first. I am keeping Javonte Williams.
Okay.
I am trading Aaron Jones, and I'm cutting Zach Moss.
I'm with you. I'd switched Zach Moss and Javonte Williams.
So you're keeping Zach Moss.
Yeah, I'm trading. I'm cutting.
I just don't believe in Zach Moss as a talent.
You know what's crazy? I'm just the Zach Moss guy. That's just who I am this year. I'm the Zach Moss guy.
That's weird.
That's weird.
Do you remember where we were with him before he went to the Colts?
On the Bills when he was frustrating as hell and he was annoying to every other running back there.
When the Bills signed him, like people were making
Drafted
jokes.
Wait.
People were making, no, when they signed him, he got released by the Bills.
Yeah.
Sorry, when the Colts.
Sorry.
When the Colts signed him after being cut by the Bills.
Yeah.
I remember like fantasy footballers and like a couple shows that I watched were like joking.
Yeah.
Oh, like Zach Moss is there. Pick him up, you know? And then he goes off for the Colts.
Decently, yeah.
I'm not a Zach Moss guy. And I am a Javonte Williams guy. I hope he gets my only thing is that I don't know if he'll get a shot.
Yeah, there's a rookie running back this year. There's an undrafted rookie running back that they're both excited about.
Yeah.
And then you still have Samaje Perine, who caught 50 balls last year. And you still have Chase McLaughlin, who, oddly enough, isn't a third down guy, but is a first and second down guy for being 185 pounds. He's a unique guy that you don't really
like him.
Yeah. So a lot of mouths to feed with an offense that's not going to score a lot this year. I don't know how much they.
And then Aaron Jones is just in a dynasty. Like I think he's gonna be really good this year.
Yeah.
But I think his trade value is like someone's gonna want him on their team
Oh wow.
this year.
Okay.
Someone's gonna want him on the team this year.
Yeah.
Some person who
Playoff team
wants to go for a championship.
Yes.
But I just have a general rule in dynasty. If your hairline is past like this,
Oh, that's
you're not gonna be on my team.
He came in the league with that hairline.
Yeah. So he never had a shot to be on my team.
Oh, we gotta get a picture of Dak Prescott's head. Dak has bad hair. Sorry, we got into hairlines all day.
Let's get into the news. Okay, I do want to get into the news, but I wanted to do something real quick first because we had a really good conversation actually on YouTube. So we posted a reel on a conversation we were having regarding the quarterback competition in in Las Vegas with the Raiders. I'll play it now. Raiders quarterbacks Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell will split starter reps. A good old-fashioned quarterback battle.
This has always led to Super Bowl contention.
We got Gardner Minshew, who's just the perfect guy to battle with Aiden O'Connell.
The Raiders are going to lose a lot of games this year.
You had guys that were basically free. Justin Fields. Go see if Trey Lance is something.
Sam Howell was out there.
Right.
Go try that. Great.
I don't want to see Aiden O'Connell again. That was brutal.
Okay, so we sent that out.
That's
right?
a handsome guy with a mustache.
Yeah, both made
You know what?
the best set of mustaches in the league. Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
Oh, talk about me.
No.
I was also featured in that mustache.
You're also not in the league.
Oh, damn.
Jeez. Oh, you're talking about your own mustache.
Yes.
I should know.
In the video.
I should have known that. Anyways, you just saw the video. I wanted to share a comment that we got from Mojo Bruh, 510.
What's up, Mojo Bro? 510.
Yeah. What's up, bro? Thanks for the comment. Thanks for the interaction. And I'm serious. We love fandom. I guess we do get offended at some points when you're a total dick. But for the most part, we love just football conversations.
Yeah, because we're a bunch of bros who want to talk to my bro about football.
So Mojo Bruh says, this isn't a good take. You really don't understand the upside of what the Raiders have at the quarterback position. Now, I immediately, yes, that face. That's what happened in my heart. Like, you need to explain that one. And so I commented back. Thanks for the comment. I'm going to need you to explain what you mean by upside when it comes to Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. Okay, and I want to take a fair.
I have
look.
not seen this.
Yeah, you haven't seen this. I want to take a fair look at what he said.
Okay,
because this is a respectful Raider fan. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to have this conversation on the show.
You tell me. Yeah. You tell me what you see.
Right. So here's what he said. He said, of course, he said, as far as Gardner Minshew, we know what he is. 6 years in the league. You know what you can get out of him. I'm there with him there.
Doesn't really say upside, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's saying like he's not really talking about Gardner Minshew. He's talking about Aiden O'Connell.
Oh my God!
Here comes the Aiden O'Connell sales job.
Let's see it.
Listen, we're going to give it a fair shot. He says for Aiden to come into a situation where he was thrown into
first name basis Aiden
with a coach that sabotage his first game was nothing short of impressive for a rookie. He's, of course, talking about your boy, Josh McDaniels, with a rookie head coach and a rookie OC. Not sure how many rookie quarterbacks could have came into the league. Came into that situation, been able to do just as well. I don't want to get long-winded. But then he followed up with another comment.
Okay.
He said he's very accurate.
Okay.
He's very smart. He may not be mobile. He's definitely not. And can make the right reads, which is the most important part of the game. He's been training with Tom Brady's longtime trainer. Didn't know that. This whole offseason. He's going to be one to watch out for. Ton of potential. Would have went higher in the draft if he would have left his junior year, I guess, as opposed to his sophomore year.
This is Aiden.
Numbers slipped, and so did he.
This is Aiden O'Connell himself. this is Aiden O'Connell. I know this is.
Aiden.
You know, Aiden.
Aiden.
We caught you, Aiden. You're not slick.
Mojo, bro.
Mojo, bro. That is Aiden O'Connell.
Okay. Let's be honest. Okay. Is there any, I don't want to say hope, but I will. Is there any hope for Raider fans for the development of Aiden O'Connell?
No, because you signed a guy who's better than him right now, and I don't see Aiden O'Connell's not the kind of quarterback where you sit behind Gardner Minshew this year, the next year it's his job again. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like you were always like, yeah, you would you not bench him, you would let him sit for a year and then start him again next year. I don't think you do that with Aiden O'Connell. So like out the gate, they signed him to start him.
Yeah.
So Gardner Minshew is the starter.
Right.
Unless he gets hurt, then O'Connell will get back.
Well, that's what we believe. They've said they're going to give him both first team reps, and it's going to be competition. We both believe. I'm there with you, but just to present this as fairly as we can.
Yeah, and the reason why I say he's going to start was because one, they could have just kept Aiden O'Connell, not signed Gardner Minshew, use that money somewhere else.
Well, you're going to want to deepen your quarterback room either way.
Yeah, but it's just
I'm going to play a little devil's advocate here.
I just don't believe that you bring him in to be your backup. Also, like I said earlier, I don't think he's. I mean. Clearly, this guy is a big Aiden O'Connell fan.
I mean, I get it. You have a young quarterback on your team. You know, he got his feet wet. I'm sure they saw good things from Aiden O'Connell at some points.
Yeah, at some points,
better prospect, Aiden O'Connell or Will Levis?
I don't want to decide between those. They're both pretty bad.
They're about the same, right?
Yeah, they're both. Have shown. I think physically, obviously, Will Levis, but I
very
think
different bodies.
No. It's not like. Will Levis has the physical attributes, but probably O'Connell has like the mental stuff, even though they're both pretty bad at both. Yeah. So I don't want either.
So
really.
Okay, so it feels what you're saying is.
Well, I'll take Will Levis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of have to. I'll go the upside.
It sounds like what you're saying though is there might be a slither or something there, but he's not going to get a chance because Gardner Minshew's going to start.
Yeah,
and this experiment's basically over.
Minshew's good enough to just keep the job.
Yeah, I mean, if Aiden O'Connell can win the job, I think I'll be a lot more with you.
You'll be like, oh wow, he beat Aiden O'Connell. He beat Gardner Minshew. Must be something there.
If he and you know, it is his second year. It's not the craziest thing to think that he's going to improve.
But they've also lost a year older with Davante Adams. They lost Josh Jacobs. They lost their right tackle.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to another fan today about the thought of going from the battery of O'Connell and Josh Jacobs to Gardner Minshew and Zamir White, and possibly losing Davante Adams here the next couple weeks.
A lot of rumors swirl. I don't know.
Okay, let's get into this news here. First, let's start with some throwback unis.
Okay.
Because I love me some throwback unis. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
This week
they tweeted this. I think it was a solid tweet. I'll read it the way it was meant to be.
Okay.
Read. The perfect throwback uniform doesn't exist. Hashtag Duval. Okay.
If you're a podcast listener, go on Twitter. Look, it's all of Twitter.
Yeah, so they're bringing back these vintage.
Yeah.
I love them.
Who do these remind you
Byron
of?
Leftwich.
David Garrard, but even though this is a little bit before him, but Leftwich.
Well.
But Leftwich, so that was his era. Yeah.
I like them. I think they're solid. I don't think they're anything special because they're not too different, really. They just kind of an older logo.
Like the font's a little different.
Yeah. But they're not, like even the Eagles, is a different green. Or,
they're not up there with the Kelly Greens or the
Seahawks.
Seahawks have dope ones. The Giants,
or the Bucks.
The Broncos have those
ones.
orange ones that are dope as hell.
They're not there, but they're solid. They're nice. I like this as
Tell you
far
what,
as
I've seen worse ones. Shout out to the Packers and the Steelers. They have terrible throwbacks. Yeah, those are bad. So you can get a lot worse with these throwbacks. This is a nice modern take on the old. Yeah, this is nice. This is a solid W.
Yeah. Speaking of old things that people just want to get rid of, Skip Bayless is leaving FS1 and the co-host job of Undisputed after 8 very long years.
Didn't work out.
per Sports Rappaport. I wonder who that is. Because
What's
that's
your-
a play?
Sports rap.
Skip Bayless.
What's your memory of Skip Bayless? If he never,
It's the Richard Sherman thing for sure.
when he went toe to toe, that was called
That was
first and
just-
10 back then.
That was one of the stupidest conversations I've ever heard in my life.
just measuring dicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just even Richard Sherman too. That's
Yeah.
when I first didn't like Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
Like you sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
Trying to sound smart.
Yeah.
That one, of course, there's the endless spats with Shay Shay.
Yeah. And then what I remember him is when,
Damar Hamlin.
no,
Okay.
that was a bad one too.
Yeah,
That's
Damar Hamlin.
We'll talk about that
Can
one.
we get the dead body off the field, please?
Yeah,
This is a playoff game.
We won't play again. This game's important. This guy almost died, Skip. No, wait, correction. He did die. His
He
heart
literally
stopped.
died. And Skip's just trying to squeegee him off.
And it's
the
like,
30.
hey, wow, we need a game going on.
Yeah.
Skip, come on.
Skip, hey, drag him off the 30 and let's just get this thing rolling.
Well, yeah, that's whatever.
Second and 10.
No, also when he said when Tim Tebow was at the height of Tim Tebow on this is his first take, he said that Tim Tebow was more Hollywood, meant more like prime time than like LeBron James, than Tom Brady. Remember that?
Yep.
And Kobe Bryant. That's like,
That's we call an
just-
L take.
yeah, but for all he's said wrong, him and Stephen A have created the most popular talk sports show of our generation. First Take, everyone knows what First Take is.
Yeah, I mean that was
Because of
real. That was a whole genre. It was a whole era.
Yeah.
After that show of just these debate shows.
Yeah, and that because of them.
Which I'm pretty sick of. But it had its time, it had its moment, and it's obviously ending now. I think First Take isn't going to go very much longer either.
Yeah.
They tried to recreate First Take Undisputed. It never worked.
No,
Definitely not going to work with Keyshawn Johnson and whoever else.
Richard Sherman
Yeah,
and
all the weird
yeah, it's just
co-hosts they had there.
for all you've done wrong, you've done a few things right.
So long, Skip.
Yeah. See you later, bud.
Won't miss you.
We'll probably see you. If you want to work for us,
Podcast.
Wait,
He's
I
a
know.
Start a podcast.
Yeah,
To work for us. What the
yeah. He could go get our lunches.
Okay.
Yeah, go get our cold brews.
All right, let's move on here. Number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, has officially signed his contract. I think there's only 3 more rookies remaining. J.J. McCarthy, Dallas Turner, and one more I'm forgetting. But Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, signs his contract. He, of course, tried some interesting things with his contract. I saw that he wanted to get paid in like certain terms where it would help his tax, help him in taxes, like a
smart.
like a forgivable loan.
That's a
instead
smart
of
young
like
man.
a paycheck. Yeah, he tried to do some things.
Hey, good for you.
One thing he tried to do, which a team is never going to allow, but if it ever got through, he would be a hero.
Yeah.
Is Caleb Williams asked for a no tag commitment in his rookie deal. The Bears declined. No rookie has ever secured that particular term in their contract, but asking for a deal to where he can't be tagged at the end of it, I'm sure it's a step to maybe one day.
It's starting the conversation. Like, hey, now that's out there, when the CBA gets renewed and we're looking for new things to put in,
Yep.
the Players Association's like, hey, this guy had an idea. What would it take to get no CBA for rookie deals? I mean, no CBA, no tag. It would never happen.
Yeah.
The owners have too much power. It wouldn't.
Well,
give up the power.
if listen, there's a pretty big thing on the table that the owners want that would bring a lot of money in, and that's another game.
Oh wait, it's a trade.
Yeah, that's all. That's how these things work.
You want 18 games?
Yep.
We want no tags.
Yep.
Even Steven.
And they also want that second bye week. But yeah, who knows? Maybe down the road he may have stumbled on something here that would change the careers. It would change. I mean, look at T. Higgins. He's stuck. Look at what happened to DJ Moore, Brian Burns. Like these guys get stuck in terrible places they can't get out.
It's literally only a positive for the owner. Fans don't like it.
Yeah, that's it.
Players don't like it because as a fan, my player got tagged. Oh, so he's angry because he get a long-term deal.
Right.
So there's now there might be a holdout. Example: Brandon Aiyuk. And then the owner's like, yeah, you're not going anywhere, buddy. I tagged you.
Yeah, it's definitely a power play for the. It's only for. I mean, ask Brandon Aiyuk for sure.
Yeah. It's a power play.
It's a power play. There's no advantage for the player really, and I think maybe it could get out because you're really holding back money from the players because they can go get a huge deal somewhere.
Man, I think we just solved the problem for them. You just trade.
The Broncos teams that solved the problem on that offensive line.
Yes,
and
we did.
They have signed guard Quinn Meinerz, a.k.a. the Belly, to a 4-year, $80 million deal. Mike Garofalo on the report. He is one of the highest paid guards. I think he's top 5.
Yeah.
Extension includes $45 million guaranteed. The man known as the Belly. Tell me a little bit about Quinn Meinerz.
Meinerz is a D2 prospect. I forgot the school, but he is coming out of the draft. Everyone knew his video because he was the one belly out, pass set drills against trees.
Awesome.
And stones.
Awesome.
Like that's John Elway or
honestly, sometimes
George Patton. Like I want that guy.
that's a classic. Like you evaluators overthought that one.
Yeah.
This man is fighting Mother Nature.
Yeah. He's out fighting
Sign
the
him.
elements.
Yeah.
Trees. You fight a tree, see what happens.
Good for you, Quinn Meinerz.
Yeah.
Good for the Broncos. I mean, building that O-line. They started last year with all those signings.
Very expensive O-line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now Quinn Meinerz there, and they continue to build.
Yeah, we
Sean Payton doing his thing.
We Bronco fans, Bronco Nation. One of our young guys that we drafted. It's nice to see us or any team draft somebody, develop them to be good, and then sign them. That's what you want to see.
Giants.
That's Eagles just did it. Landon Dickerson. You draft them, develop them, sign them. That's how you do it. Giants, Jaguars. So many teams don't do that.
Speaking of the Giants, quarterback Daniel Jones is not expected to begin training camp on the PUP list.
Is that good?
It's an indication now positive the ACL rehab has gone. So he's not going to be even on the PUP list, which means he could be practicing at some point in training camp. We'll get Daniel Jones. I mean, listen, we need to see it, though.
Remember last year, his highlight was the drag route? They have the training
Was
camp
that this year?
or this? No,
That was this year.
that was last year.
Was
no,
it?
the highlight. You know how they do the training camp highlights?
Yeah.
His was just a drag route.
I remember.
I was like, oh, that's sweet. Thanks for the highlight of the drag route.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how he has a legit weapon. Even though, I mean, Jalen Hyatt won the Blitnikoff before he got there, and
Blitnikoff.
he
Yeah.
had Saquon Barkley for a number of years. I don't think there's anything positive here, but I think the Giants need to realize this is not your guy. Maybe one more year before they move on.
1 year too late. 2 years too late.
We'll see.
Who's to say?
Giants are going to lose a lot of games this year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Another quarterback here kind of in limbo. Deshaun Watson on his injured shoulder. I haven't had any setbacks or anything holding me back. We're going to get full, healthy Deshaun Watson this year. I have a question for you. Who keeps their job longer, Daniel Jones or Deshaun Watson?
That's closer than people think.
Yes.
The Browns signed Jameis Winston.
Yep.
The Browns have have now a track record where they can say to themselves, look, we don't need some elite prospect. We see someone out there who just stole the ball.
Yeah.
They went with Joe Flacco last year.
Yeah. And they're committed to their coach and GM combo. They re-signed him this offseason.
Yep.
I think they're a smart enough organization we've seen where if they can tell they made a mistake, that they will move on from Deshaun Watson. It's been 3 years now.
Yeah.
We have seen nothing to think that he is old Deshaun Watson.
Also, the Broncos just made it clear that some GMs just don't care how big the dead cap is. If you make our team better, or if by cutting you makes our team better, we're just gonna cut you.
Also, they've spent a lot of money to open up this Super Bowl window.
Yeah.
They have a fantastic roster. They're paying a lot of people a lot of money. Myles Garrett's in his prime. I don't know if they're gonna waste this on Deshaun Watson's ever growing comeback efforts. It's never. They're not going to waste it on that.
But to answer your question, Daniel Jones keeps his job.
He might.
Watson keeps his job longer. I'm sorry.
so?
Yeah, I think he'll get at least 10 plus games.
I think Daniel Jones is getting a full year. I think
I don't know.
it might be Daniel Jones. We'll see.
Drew.
Very
Drew Lock.
interesting.
We might see Drew Lock in New York. What's worse than that?
Speaking of guys we might see in New York, Davante Adams. This is starting to heat up, these rumors. He's been on several podcasts, and he said some things.
No.
Namely, he said, I'm actively on the Raiders. When
That's-
asked about about the trade rumors, I am actively on the Raiders. That doesn't exactly say I'm ready for the season.
I think it's the opposite.
Really?
I think I'm actively here. That's like I'm actively on.
Really?
I'm actively on. I'm actively working out. Or I'm actively. That's what that means to me. That he's like, I know. I'm actively like.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch it. We're gonna have to watch it and see like what exactly his body language was, because he was pretty loose. I was watching a little bit of this.
Yeah.
Another thing, he was talking about Tom Brady on the Raiders, how he would love 46-year-old Tom Brady to just come play for the Raiders. And then he said, yeah, I'm sure he could throw it better than, and he stopped himself from saying either Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew.
I got an example for it.
I don't know, man.
I got it.
Say it.
Oh, never mind. This is a bad example.
Then don't say it.
Fuck, I'll say it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
If there's, say, like someone's single, right? And like, okay, are you dating? No, I'm actively on dating apps. That's what this is. Like, oh,
Okay. So that's proving my point.
no, he's actively on. He's actively. Oh yeah, shit. I was right. It's a bad example. You're right.
It's a great example.
I'm trying to think like
it proved my point. It's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Thank you for that example.
Damn.
Let's move forward here. To the other wide receiver drama that we've been monitoring literally all year. Jawan Jennings, I believe he got extended this offseason.
Yeah,
right?
2 years, 15, 16.
He said something on Instagram that appears to be a shot at Brandon Aiyuk. You tell me if this is toward Brandon Aiyuk. He says you got to be a different type of person to act like you're doing everything by yourself, knowing dang well you're not. First of all, clever, dancing around using a curse word.
Bars.
Good for the kids.
Yeah, family friendly.
Yes. But is this toward Brandon Aiyuk?
I mean, unless he has something else going on in his life, I don't know. I the social life of I would think this is towards one guy, which is you kind of right.
Yeah.
After watching Receiver on Netflix, you're like, you're not the only guy to do shit for this team.
Debo, even Jawan Jennings, obviously he knows his role.
Blocker.
But he has a role.
Yeah, blocker, third down-ish type of guy.
Yeah. And George Kittle had a great year last year, kind
Debo.
of a revive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see. Brandon Aiyuk is very interesting. Of course, it came out just after we released our show last week that Mike Garofalo reported Aiyuk has officially requested a trade after unsuccessful attempts to reach an extension, despite a meeting where we were told it went well.
It went well.
It went well.
I guess it didn't go well.
I guess
It went well. We decided. Actually, I don't even know what they.
that reminds me of a buddy of mine in college who went on a date, and we asked him how the date went. And he's like, "It went great." And then I asked the girl, and I don't want to see that guy anymore.
That's what happened.
That's exactly what
It
happened.
went great. And then I was like, fuck those people, dude.
That guy.
Fuck that guy, dude. No, he's this. A trade request is pretty damning towards their relationship. This is
It is, but I don't think anything's going to happen.
no
Because for so many reasons. Adam Schefter did say this. Other teams have reached out and spoken to San Francisco. Have been told the Niners have no intention of trading disgruntled Brandon Aiyuk, who has officially requested a trade. Also, Schefter said the Niners have had these kind of issues with Deebo Samuel, Robbie Gould in the past, where they have requested trades, and the Niners have not obliged. So Niners have a history of not giving into this kind of thing. It was really the last card Aiyuk had to play.
Yeah.
Vets return to camp next week. It's the last thing he has to play. Might as well play that card.
yeah,
It's not going to work.
not gonna work.
And they could tag him next year as well. So I don't think he's going anywhere for a
Yeah,
while.
this is the wrong team to do this to. The 49ers have been known to be stubborn and steadfast in their belief that we're not trading assets.
Yeah.
We'll maybe even too late to the but whatever. Like they're not, especially now. This is Super Bowl window. In a couple years, you're gonna have to pay Brock Purdy, which means all this is gonna come tumbling down because once you pay someone $45 million, you can't pay everybody else.
Yeah, and Deebo is obviously maybe on his last legs. Kittle's
Yeah.
toward the end of his career. Ayuk's one of the few young weapons they have. Maybe an Aiyuk Pearsall future is what they're envisioning. And they're in a Super Bowl window, and I think they need Brandon Aiyuk to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean,
He's not going anywhere.
They didn't think so because they didn't pass him the ball during the Super Bowl. They thought they could do it without him.
Thanks.
That's where this all started from.
Thanks.
That's it. It's interesting. This is a distraction for a
Did you
team that's
see
trying
the,
to win a Super Bowl here.
Did you see the Davante Adams for Aiyuk rumors?
Yeah,
That might be a thing.
I don't know who says no. I would take Davante Adams if I was the Niners, and if I was Raiders, you want number one money? We'll pay you number one money.
I mean, you're losing a lot of years, though.
You're just gonna,
Adams is what, 31?
yeah. Well, the Super Bowl window. That's what I would.
Yeah.
I think Adams is gonna be just fine next year too. I think unless something catastrophic happens this year.
And I'll tell you, too, there's still a lot of buzz about the Steelers and the Commanders. Like, those two teams, I'm not sure how true it is, because
Which one would you want him to go to?
Aiyuk,
Also, sorry.
I think either one. I think the Steelers, you're going to see him playing more meaningful games and like return to the spotlight.
Yeah.
The Commanders, he'd be great for their development of
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. So
Fantasy
I'd take
wise,
either.
where would you want him to go?
Steelers.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a better offense, but who knows? Who knows how good McDaniels is? Maybe
It's
he's
like the
just-
most quietest
he did win the Heisman.
number 2 Heisman winning quarterback we've ever had in the draft. We're just not talking
He's
about him.
super athletic.
We talk more about Bo Nix than we do
You know what
Jaden
that reminds
Daniels.
me of? CJ Stroud action.
last year. A lot of them
We talked a lot about Bryce Young.
and everyone didn't like Stroud except for us in this show.
Yikes.
We're claiming that dub. We never do.
Absolutely.
We were all aboard CJ Stroud.
Let's take a quick
Pause.
break. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to continue with our divisional previews, diving into the NFC South. We'll be right back. This segment is brought to you by Dad Gang Hats. Dad Gang makes the highest quality hats in the apparel industry because they use premium materials, pay close attention to detail, and prioritize durability and comfort. With so many styles, colors, and designs, they absolutely have the right hat for you and the dad in your life. Use code BENCHED76826. That's BENCHD 76826 for 15% off your first purchase. Shop Dad Gang Hats, quality hats for quality dads. Okay, we're back with our divisional previews as we go through the league here, and today the NFC South is where we're going to be. Last year, of course, the Bucs won this division and won a playoff game, but that's about it. The rest of the division was pretty bad.
Real quick, describe this division in one word. I'm just curious. Your vibe for it.
I think we're thinking the same word, and we'll say it on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Boring.
Ass. Boring ass.
Boring ass.
Yeah.
It's what every guy looks for.
Why is that where you went?
It's not.
All right. Atlanta Falcons. Let's start there. They finished last year at 7-10. Of course, they lose Arthur Smith, which
That's a win.
addition by subtraction.
Yeah, yep.
If there ever was one.
Yeah, that's
Whole new regime there.
yeah.
New head coach, of course, Raheem Morris.
Formerly part of the Falcon staff, though.
Yeah, at one point was an interim, but
Yep.
didn't get the job.
Yep.
Zach Robinson, a offensive coordinator who I feel like people have been talking about for a couple years now from the Sean McVay tree. They've been pretty successful around the
Basically,
league.
just the Rams staff, but in Atlanta.
I like that.
Most of it, yeah. The Rams.
And then, of
tree's
course,
pretty good.
they sign Kirk Cousins to the monster contract, and then immediately draft his replacement,
Wow. Yeah, let's
Michael Penix,
Yeah.
with the 8th overall pick. But a lot of stability at quarterback.
let's take a broader view here of the whole thing.
Yeah.
The last year, the vibe and the mood of this team was totally like shooting, like self-imploding. Like
Yeah.
they weren't good because they
You're
weren't.
shaking the entire table.
No, they weren't good because they weren't making themselves good. They had the talent, they had everything you kind of would want to start like a good offensive line, good weapons, a quarterback that could be manageable, I guess, an underrated defense, and they didn't do it. This year, the vibe is we got the right coaching in place now.
Yeah.
Let's see what can happen.
It's-
Plus, Kirk Cousins.
It's really best case scenario if you were just like most of the league, just sick of the powers that be in Atlanta.
Yeah.
If Arthur Smith, you just felt like we're never going to win with this guy. We need our young weapons to get an opportunity. We need fresh offensive minds. You got the whole thing.
Yeah.
You got the quarterback. You got the new head coach. You got the young offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
You got a great fresh start here. They did lose some veterans here. Jonnu Smith moves on to the Dolphins. Bud Dupree out. Calais Campbell also out. So some veteran defensive linemen there move on. But they do add Rondell Moore over from the Cardinals, who I like.
He's
In his role, I like that.
gadgety, but yeah, he's good. He has a role in
Yeah.
any offense. He's just like the fast little short guy.
Little guy. Emphasis on little.
He's a very little man.
They had a decent draft. We mentioned Michael Penix, Rook Ororo, defensive tackle, and then Braylon Trice, also an edge. So we see them replace 2 older defensive linemen with 2 young defensive linemen there in the draft. Greg, in his article on the bench on benchshow.com, check that out, predicts them going 9-8 and winning the NFC South again. So only 9-8 is surprising to me.
Well, they didn't win again. Winning for the first.
Right. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
winning this year.
Yeah.
They didn't win last year. Bucs won last year. But winning the NFC South with a record 9-8. That's interesting to me. But if I have a question about about the Falcons, is Kirk still Kirk? I think that's what this whole season's about.
Yeah.
If Kirk is still Kirk, this is a Super Bowl contending team.
Yeah.
They have the weapons. Obviously, we've been drooling over them for a couple years now. Pitts, London.
What?
Now Darnell Mooney's
What?
there with Rondell Moore, Bijan Robinson, and Tyler Algier, the forgotten one.
Yeah.
Also back there in the backfield. I looked into this defense. Okay, they weren't as good as I thought they were, but they're definitely they're solid. They have their strengths. 17th in points per game, so kind of middle of the pack. 10th in yards per game, so not getting a lot of yards. 28th against the rush, and 5th against the pass.
That's a testament. Well,
And they lose Calais Campbell and Bud Dupree. So we'll see if that gets better.
they have a good secondary though.
5th gets the pass is nice.
Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell.
Yep.
Those are pillars for secondary.
And the run that Kirk Cousins is coming off of in Minnesota is so underappreciated.
Yeah.
In 5 full years, his 6th year he got hurt, and so we won't count that year. But in the 5 full years he was the starter in Minnesota, not all of them with Kevin O'Connell, by the way, he averaged 4,100 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Yeah, that's what you want from
Every year you had an elite passing game with Kirk Cousins. So that's why I say if you get that Kirk back with that defense and those weapons, I think you're right there.
Yeah, I think 9-8 is a good estimate for this team. Maybe 10. But I won't go any higher than that. But yeah, I think Kirk, if he gets to what he was last year, and he was beating the 49ers in primetime last year. That was
right.
Yeah. No, that was him. That was
him.
Yeah. I think this is a solid team. They have a very good offensive line, very good offensive playmakers, obviously. I think, and Kirk is not dumb, like as far as being like knowing to feed his top guy. He fed Justin Jefferson. He fed when he was in Washington. At that time it was Pierre Garçon. He fed him. So there's a lot of he knows where his strengths are. He's not afraid to use them. I think if he goes back even to 80%, the offensive stability and upside is through the roof. It's through the roof because it couldn't get any lower. That's basically why. Like, it couldn't get any worse than Desmond Ridder and Heineke and Logan Woodside and a bunch of those shit guys that they put back there at quarterback.
And weird decisions that they made with running backs. Okay, let's talk a little fantasy here before we move on to the Bucs. I'll start us off here. A guy I am loving this year. I'm also writing an article about this. Drake London. I feel like people are starting to second guess themselves now. For a couple years, we've known if this guy can get a quarterback, he can be elite. He's put up a couple 900-yard seasons. He's been solid with terrible quarterback play, terrible play calling, an offense that is not suited for this guy to get that much success. Okay, and yet he's being drafted in regular PPR leagues at 33rd overall. What I don't understand with Drake London is how there is a difference in perception between him and Garrett Wilson. Because to me, that's the same guy. So for me, I'll pass on. I love Garrett Wilson as well, but as ADP, I'll maybe pass on that and think I can get Drake London later in the exact same situation. Yeah. Older quarterback coming off an Achilles injury. I think Kirk Cousins was better more recently than Aaron Rodgers was. Yeah, and so I love Drake London here. I also love obviously the other guys as well. I'm iffy on Pitts, but love Bijan and who am I not thinking of here?
Algier.
Oh, I guess Bijan's the for sure one. Yeah. Kirk, we'll see how healthy he is, but I like Drake London at the ADP.
Speaking of Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I like Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I think in the tight end realm where it's deep, but you want to go for upside. I think if you want to just not get any of the top guys, because there's about half the league who's going to hate Kyle Pitts.
Oh, yeah.
So in most of your home leagues or your friend leagues, he's going to drop because everyone hates him. But, I mean, his last great tight end season was his rookie year. That was with Matt Ryan at that stage. Would you take that stage of Matt Ryan or this stage of Kirk Cousins?
Oh, definitely this stage of Kirk Cousins.
So I don't understand the difference. That's when he was good last, when he had a quarterback like that. He has a better quarterback now, and he's 23. It's not like he's 27, 28. Yeah. I don't see where, because last year sucked. He was hurt. He was hurt the year before and came back early. He still had complications with his knee last year. Around any year, if you watch him play, you get more comfortable with that. This year, I think this is his finally time to blossom. Drafted right now at tight end 6. I think he's more in the tight end. I was thinking the tight end 4 or 3. Yeah,
going around the 6th round, Kyle Pitts. He's physically profiles as someone who could be a Darren Waller type, someone who could be a tight end 1. Like he is in that conversation of guys who has the talent to get there.
Yeah.
Maybe the quarterback as well.
Since we're on both these guys, I think both Drake London and Kyle Pitts both kind of being slept on because of the past 2 years, obviously. Yeah. Drake London, consistent player. It reminds me, just watching him, like this is like young Mike Evans. Just solid, 1,000 yards, red zone, deep shot guy. He's just a good wideout. And what sucks is that Mike Evans was able to do 1,000 yards. I think back-to-back years of 900-something yards for Drake London.
He reminds me of Michael Thomas. A little more well-rounded than what Mike Evans does young in his career. But either way, love the guy. I think Kyle Pitts also a good choice. And then if you get Bijan, go get him too.
If you had 2 spots, would you draft 2 of these Falcons?
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, would you put too much into it? Like, would you put like?
I'm not I don't get that kind of philosophy where you won't have 2 guys on the same team.
No. Well, luckily enough.
So yes, I would.
Their situation, there's three different positions, three different sets. So you would get two of them. Yeah.
Well, even there's two. Even if Pitts, because Pitts is really a receiver.
Yeah,
If Pitts was listed as a wide receiver, I'd still do that. I don't. If guys produce, guys produce. You know what I'm saying? It don't really matter if they have to play the same position. Like points are points.
Yeah.
Well, not they come from the same team. But to answer your question, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would. Let's move ahead to the Tampa Bay Bucks, the winners of the division last year, beat the Eagles in the first round of the playoffs, moved on, and I believe lost to the Lions. If I'm
got smoked. Well, the Lions are a good team.
Yeah.
That's good. Good job for getting there.
Lost some veterans here. Some Super Bowl winning veterans. Shaq Barrett moves on to the Dolphins. Carlton Davis moves over to the Lions. We both love that move. And then Devin White, longtime linebacker there, leaves that dynamic duo and goes over to the Eagles. Key additions here. Jordan Whitehead. They re-signed him, right? He didn't leave.
Yeah.
Did he go to the Chiefs for 1 year? Was that him?
No.
They signed Sterling Shepard?
I guess they did.
I guess they did.
That's how important Sterling Shepard is to the NFL. We don't know what the hell he is. Sterling?
They drafted.
That's Baker. Like Sterling Shepard. Hey,
they signed one of my favorite players in the draft, and that's Graham Barton. He's
Yeah.
going to play center for them. I love Graham Barton. I think he's going to slide right in after the retirement of Jenkins.
No, not Jenkins. The white guy.
The ginger.
Jensen.
Jensen. There. He is.
Jensen. There he is.
I think he'll slide right in there. But Bucks won division last year. My big question for the Bucks is the roster good enough around Baker to make a legit playoff run? Last year was not a legit playoff run.
Yeah.
That was nice, but at no point we saw when they went to Detroit.
Yeah.
When the Eagles were in a funk, that was a weird thing.
Yeah.
Good for them for winning that game.
Yeah.
But when they got to the Lions, I think it was 30-7.
Yeah.
They got smoked. I want to know if this roster around Baker is good enough. Because at first I thought, my first question was, can Baker elevate his play in the playoffs?
Yeah.
But then I looked at his play in the playoffs last year. He balled out.
Yeah.
In 2 games last year, threw for 337 yards and 349 yards, threw 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions through 2 games.
Yeah.
He played fine. You can win with that guy.
Yeah.
But is the roster good enough around him to beat the big boys, Green Bay, Philly, San Francisco, the Rams? I mentioned the Lions. Is this that kind of team? I think we'll see this year.
Yeah. I think I figured out when we were prepping for the show, I figured out like what this team is. You like them, you don't love them. It's exactly what we think about Baker Mayfield. I like Baker. I don't love Baker. He is this football team now. You like Baker because he'll do good things, he'll perform, but you don't love him because when he faced the Lions, even though he had good stats, he falls short. Sometimes stats can deceive you. That game against the Lions, they're just outmatched. I don't know. They've signed obviously Winfield Jr. Huge piece.
Yeah.
Tristan Wirfs, something's weird going on there.
Go pay him.
I don't know.
Stop waiting.
I don't know what you're
not
doing.
Gonna help you.
This guy who just moved to right tackle, left tackle seamlessly. Yeah. If not, he got better at left tackle.
Yeah. I think the thing right now is they're trying to pay him a little less as a right tackle.
Yeah.
I don't know why there's a disparity between those two anymore.
No, they both are very important. But I'm not in love with this team build though. They don't have any significant playmakers on defense besides Winfield and Vita Vea. Devin White experiment was done. Their pass rushers that they've gotten the last couple of years have not worked out.
Right.
Shaq Barrett leaves. So what's that defensive? It's just tough. Yeah, it's tough. But like you need to rush the passer if you're gonna beat a Jared Goff, a Jalen Hurts. You know the NFC powerhouses. Obviously the 49ers, and then offensively, they just don't have enough. Rashad White isn't enough for me. This line isn't enough for me to just fall in love with them.
Well, worth noting on offense, I think the biggest thing in offense this year is the loss of Dave Canales, who is credited with not only the resurgence of Geno Smith, but also Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
And so we'll see this year how much they relied on Dave Canales. As an Eagle fan, when we lost Shane Steichen, the world fell apart.
Yeah.
And so I know what the loss of a good offensive coordinator can do to an offense.
Yep.
And I believe this offense is way less talented than that Eagles offense was. So we can see a total implosion here on the offense without Dave Canales. We'll see. But yeah, I think you said it right. We like them. Don't love the roster. Don't love their chances of going deep in the playoffs. Let's talk a little fantasy here with the Bucks.
Yeah.
Why don't you start?
Yeah. This team has pretty solid fantasy starters if you were to take a look at it. But a guy going under the radar because of injuries, because of basically bad play for about a year because he was coming off ACL. Chris Godwin. Drafted right now in standard leagues at wideout 33. So he finished wideout 34. In weeks 1 through 13 was wideout 45. during that time, they were trying to make him as a perimeter wideout, and it was not working, obviously.
Right.
Only 20% target share, averaging 50 yards per game. After week 13, he finished as a wideout 16. They moved him in the slot, 25% target share. He went from 36% in the slot to 45%.
I don't know why you would try anything else. That's what he's always been good at.
That's for all we love about David Canales, and I like him. That was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
You clearly see move him in the slot. New OC Liam Cohen has already said he's going to be in the slot. That's where he's best at. He was wild at 16 from week 13 to the end of the year because he was playing slot. I think Baker Mayfield, same play. I don't see him aging poorly this year. I think he's be the same quarterback. I think very sneaky top 25 wideout. You can get him back of the people will probably forget that he exists because no one really believes that he's good anymore because he plays for a boring team. Kind of no one watches the Bucks. It might be a league winner.
When Brady was here, the gap between Evans and Chris Godwin was a lot more narrow. Evans kind of had the edge because he caught the touchdowns, but Godwin caught a ton of passes. It has widened now to the point where Evans is going 43rd overall on average, and Godwin's going 89th overall.
89th
overall. And so I agree with you. I think waiting on Chris Godwin and getting him that far in the draft and maybe not having to take a Mike Evans, I think you'll be happy with that in your flex all year long if he can stay healthy. And for the most part, he's been a very healthy individual.
Yeah. And
the guy I'm taking is actually Cade Otton.
Little sleeper tight end, huh?
I like him. I like Cade Otton. I think he's made plays from the second he stepped into the league. It's been
a slow burn with him, though.
A slow burn,
yeah,
for sure. But I think this year, I think the passing game maybe is not as dynamic. I think another year older for Mike Evans. Eventually, that's going to catch up with him. I think over the middle, Cade Otton's going to be the guy along with Chris Godwin. I think that's how they move this offense. I also like Rashard White, especially if you're going to do a zero RB thing. Just load up on either an elite tight end.
We don't have it. I wonder where his ADP is. I wonder if he's
Rashard White's going 47th overall, so that's back of the fourth round. So you can maybe 1, 2, and 3 get 2 elite receivers and the best tight end you got.
Yeah.
So go get Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, T. Higgins, and then grab Rashad White.
You'd be comfortable in PPR. I'd be comfortable with Rashad White for sure.
Last year Rashad White, I think he was RB4 last year in PPR
because he catches all those balls. Yeah, and Baker Mayfield
wildly inefficient.
And Baker Mayfield isn't a mobile quarterback really. Well, he has a little bit of legs, but he'll dump it off. I think he's. Like I said, this team quietly has some fantasy guys that you can plug and play.
So quietly, because you wouldn't think that the team that's finished dead last in rushing, back-to-back years,
you'd start the running back,
would have the number 4 running back.
And the team that doesn't go for a lot of yards, you probably start both wideouts.
Maybe the tight end as well.
It's a very quietly.
It's a weird team.
It's a weird team because you're good, but not. They're right in that gray area. Yeah. I don't know where to place them.
Let's move on here to your team of destiny.
On the Panthers.
Carolina Panthers. Of course, went 2-15 last year. What a rough year.
Yeah, they're
for
not
the Panthers.
Not great.
As they start the Bryce Young era. Brian Burns leaves in the offseason.
Big.
We saw him just get absolutely gifted to the Giants in the dock.
For nothing.
2 seconds?
Yeah, nothing. Whatever.
Wild. They lose Brian
2 seconds
Burns.
in a pot in a plate of chicken.
Dante Jackson's also gone. Bradley Bozeman's gone. Underrated loss there. They add Deontay Johnson, which I think it's a super solid add. A young Adam Thielen.
We'll talk about him later.
Yeah. Josie Jewell, your boy, comes over from the Broncos.
Yep.
And you want to give that name a shot?
Trayvon Wallace?
Kalavion Kason. Chasen.
He's the...
I know he is. I just can't say his name.
Yeah. Well, that's because he hasn't done anything in the league. He's a failed first round pick.
Yeah. So that's a short list. They added a lot of people this offseason.
Yeah. Get to the linemen.
They spent some money.
Yeah.
They added some linemen. They're the ones who grabbed
Robert Hunt. 5-year, $100 million, 50 guaranteed.
And worth it. He's a very good
good lineman. Also, Damian Lewis, the guard for the Seattle Seahawks last year.
Yeah. They
had the worst line of football behind the Washington Commanders. Wow. Surprised I went to that name instead of the other name. They kind of saw what they were bad at. Like, okay, Bryce Young, smaller quarterback, we need to protect him. Let's invest. Even if it's not the best, they did a good job. Robert Robert Hunt, solid guard. He'll be there for next. He's just as good as most guards in the league, if not a little better. Damian Lewis is better than what they had. He's not great, but he's better than what they had.
Yeah.
Also underrated Clowney there to replace Burns. I know it's not the same athlete, or not the same production-wise, but you try to, you only fix so many things in one offseason. It's hard to replace Burns. Yeah, so you only do so much. But
for me, this whole year is about, can they salvage Bryce Young? Can they salvage his career? Can they turn it around? We just talked about Dave Canales. He's now here in Carolina. Dan Morgan, the new GM, there as well, building this roster around him. Canales, we're going to find out. Was the Baker-Geno thing a fluke? Or is he truly a quarterback whisperer? Because if he is, he's the best guy to turn around someone like Bryce Young.
If he does it 3 times,
he's the guy.
Panthers got a good one.
Yeah. That plus an improved roster, is it enough to turn around Bryce Young after a rookie season that is almost unbelievable to look at? 2,800 yards, 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
I like what they did offensively. Defensively, losing Brian Burns, losing Dante Jackson.
It's rough.
Not great.
Yeah.
Offensively, though, I like what they did. Improved the offensive line. Drafted, I'm blanking on his name now, a rookie running back.
Jonathan Brooks.
Jonathan Brooks. I like their draft. Obviously, Xavier Legette, their second round, their first pick it's the 32nd pick, so the last pick of their first round, their first pick. I like what they did. I like what they did offensively. I think that they're going to be better than what they were last year. They'll look like an offense this year, I think. Maybe not a great one, but they'll look like a passable offense this year.
It seems to be the formula to help quarterbacks that need to take a next step is to surround them as good as weapons as you can and get them a young, innovative play caller.
Yeah.
It looks like that's what they did.
Yeah.
So we'll see with Bryce Young. Gut feeling, does Bryce Young turn it around this year to where you feel like we can give this guy a couple years and see what happens?
Yes.
I think so too.
I think they win 6 or 7 games.
Okay. Greg has them winning 4 games, 4-13, but maybe they surprise everyone with an improved roster, with people rolling in thinking easy.
Yeah. Well, maybe 7, but yeah, I think 6 is probably the limit. But that's better than we were last year. I think if they do that,
way better.
And Bryce Young shows that I can operate an offense. Him and Canales kind of mesh. That sometimes you get those beautiful head coach quarterback marriages that just work. This is it. Because Bryce Young was drafted number 1 for a reason. Very smart quarterback, very accurate quarterback. You have the wideouts that are just separators. Obviously, you bring in Deontay Johnson, one of the league leaders in separation out of routes. Very underrated.
Adam Thielen.
Yeah, Thielen. Xavier Legette is your raw prospect ex wideout who's a big, strong guy.
Yeah.
Mingo, just a guy. I guess just a guy.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Do you see him over and under Bryce Young 20 touchdowns?
Over.
Okay.
About 24.
Over under his season total last year, 10 interceptions.
Over.
If he can keep it underneath 10, that would be so impressive.
Well, maybe under.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it.
It reached 2,800 yards last year, over under 3,500.
Over. He has better weapons this year.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the fantasy element here. Not an incredibly sexy fantasy team.
Not incredibly.
But there's some usable pieces here, maybe for your bench, maybe for a flex, but some maybe diamonds in the rough here. I know a guy you're going to go with already, so go ahead and share it.
Wide receiver, Deontay Johnson, currently going in standard leagues ADP of wideout 39. That's crazy.
109th pick.
Missed 4.5 games last year, but when he returned from injury week 7, he finished 14th in target share, 23%. He's been known, that's his thing, target monster. And 6th in air yard share, basically how far the ball has traveled to get him.
Yeah.
Basically, he could just do a lot on the field. In that span, he was wide receiver 33 on a team, the Steelers, who threw 11 touchdowns last year.
Yeah. Also a team, like he's been good for the last couple of years with terrible quarterbacks.
Absolutely. Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett and whatever else, and Mason Rudolph.
Old Ben.
I would take Bryce Young, even at this stage, over all of them.
Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's going to immediately assume the number 1 role here.
Wild 39, that's crazy.
So he's drafted 109th. I think we said Godwin was like 80-something.
Yeah.
So you can wait and put in your flex late in the draft, Godwin and Deontay Johnson.
Both PPR guys, both quarterbacks that will pass in the ball, both
high floor guys.
Yeah. Also, if you say, well, Bryce Young, who knows if he can support? Adam Thielen was I don't know why
I hate your critic voice.
I hate.
I don't know who that guy is.
Adam Thielen was fantasy relevant at the first part of last year because of the over targets.
Very much so.
And when Adam Thielen was targeted 8 times or more, he had 5 top 20 finishes. If Deontay Johnson can get that and to add those finishes, there's a pathway here where you're week 8 into the season. We're like Deontay Johnson's wideout 16 because of all the catches, because in PPR especially.
I love Deontay Johnson. I think Jonathan Brooks in redraft is a little more risky. In a dynasty, I like it. Miles Sanders is still there. Chuba Hubbard's still there. They like those guys. It is an improved offensive line, which is always fun.
Yeah.
To think about, like what is good when like what can that unit like elevate around them?
Yeah.
Running game seems to make sense. Yeah. So we'll see if Jonathan Brooks is that guy. I think he's going over 100, like as far as ADP.
Yeah.
I also like him as well as more of a flyer. Don't rely on him for anything yet because we don't know how that's going to shake out.
Yeah.
They've been very comfortable so far using multiple guys, although Canal is coming from the Bucs where they use one guy very often. So we'll see what that's like. But I think worth a flyer, Jonathan Brooks.
Also, real quick, dynasty stash, Xavier Legette. Probably won't be a big factor this year unless something happens. He's kind of a raw talent. If this takes off and next year Thielen moves on, Legette will slide right into that wideout too. And if Bryce Young takes off, they'll what's that? All ships right? What that? You see it a lot.
Rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah.
He seems like the perfect fit for Bryce Young as well.
Yeah.
He excels in short area accuracy, quick decisions.
Yeah.
Legette's gonna catch everything within 5 yards of
Yeah.
the line of scrimmage, a lot behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And so it seems like an easy safety blanket
Yeah.
for Bryce Young, maybe a guy who can just make a name for himself with Yak, which is exactly what he did in college.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think it's a good little nugget there. Let's move on here to the last team in the division, the New Orleans Saints. Last year,
Nothing
finished-
new about this team.
Nope.
The old Orleans
Not
Saints.
for years.
We should start calling them that.
Who's less inspiring, Dennis Allen or Bucs head coach?
Bowles.
Yeah, Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles is a 1.
That's
So
a pretty uninspiring group.
I'll take Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen is pretty. No,
That's a cold
they got
handshake in the center of the field.
baby Kubiak. Clint Kubiak is a new
That's who they
OC.
got. That's who they
He
got.
runs the San Francisco.
San Fernando.
That's out to LA people.
Local.
He runs the zone runs. I think their offense will be a little better this year, but Dennis Allen doesn't inspire a lot of hope here.
No. Finished 9-8 last year. They lost Marcus May, the safety, to the Dolphins. Andrews Pete moves on to the Ravens, and Isaac Edom goes to the Niners. They add Chase Young, goes to the Saints. He was out there forever. No one wanted him, and he goes to the Saints. So worth the flyer.
Yeah.
Is he the new Jadeveon Clowney?
A guy who doesn't produce.
He
Except for
doesn't
1
produce,
year.
but he's going to be in the league for a while.
Yeah, he'll be in the league a long time.
Yeah.
No, Chase Young was on the Niners and was getting caught being lazy. I don't know what motivation you need. You were on the Niners, bro.
Yeah, when they're right here, like 4 games under 500, he's going to be walking off the line. of
He's
scrimmage.
like, I'm not rushing, dude.
Willie Gay Jr. also joins. I like him.
Cedric Wilson, veteran wideout, trying to bolster
Yeah.
that,
We love their draft. They drafted Talisi Fuaga,
I love him.
the tackle
God.
out of Oregon State. That's the Oregon State one.
God, do they need him?
Major athlete. He can plug in anywhere you want. He's going to be awesome for them. And then Kool-Aid McKinstry goes to them. Also, like a low risk, high reward type.
Because of injury, he fell in the
pick.
draft, but if he was healthy, he'd be, I think he was, I'm about to say lottery pick, a top 20, top 15 pick, yeah.
And who knows? Lattimore has a high cap number. Maybe this is a way they can eventually move off that. We'll see. Greg has them finishing the season at 16-11.
6-11.
Sorry, 6-11. With them, my whole question was, does another bad season finally mean a rebuild?
Yeah.
We think it's time for rebuild already, but does it convince them that it's time for rebuild yet? We'll see. I went straight to their cap.
Yep. I was looking up. I got to see their cap. Their cap room was ridiculous.
That's the problem with them. They have some cap space now because they made some moves. They restructured stuff like that. Derek Carr this year, I believe, is getting paid. His cap number is $12 million, but in the next 2 years, it jumps to $51 and $61 million. Each of those years, they can't move off it without a huge cap hit until after the 2026 season. And so I think they play out this year, and then you draft a young guy, and he maybe sits behind Carr, or you just eat the dead cap or whatever. But that's a huge cap hit. The other one is Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
His cap this year will be, or next year will be $29 million. But after that, they'll be able to cut him for just a $10 million dead cap hit, and I think they will and move off there. There's also a couple of other older guys. I mentioned Lattimore, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Juwan Johnson. Like these are the guys that are getting paid most for them. that I think eventually you're going to have to move off of and begin this rebuild already.
Yeah, I think they're just holding. I think they're waiting. They're waiting too long.
Yeah.
I think that era.
I'd say so.
They're Cam Jordan, Damara Davis. That era. It needs to. All good things come to an end. This was a good thing. I think it's time to just cut, release, trade, whatever.
Yeah.
Move on. Get your cap situation back to a normal situation.
And get some young talent on this roster.
Make it a place where a quarterback like Dak Prescott next year, like, oh, I wouldn't mind going to New Orleans. They have this set, they have that set up. And then in a couple of years, if your young guys, if Chris Olave doesn't like to be there, he might just bounce.
Well, that's my point. Make it a young roster. There's not any youth on this roster. There's no blue chip youth on this roster except for Chris Olave, whatever you think of him.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe
Eric McCoy's a nice center.
Eric McCoy's fine, but he's 27 now.
Yeah.
By the time they move on from Derek Carr, he'll be pushing 30. They still have Jamal Williams on this roster. They still have Taysom Hill on this roster. It's time to flip this thing over already, and hopefully after what I think will be another bad year, they'll decide to do that.
Yeah, this team is about a year away from having Mike Vrabel as a head coach or some young guy.
Shedeur Sanders?
Shedeur Sanders landing in New Orleans with with Bobby Slowick or Ben Johnson.
Yeah,
that's
not bad.
We're already calling their season over.
It's not bad.
We're already predicting that they're going to fire everybody.
We're not
behind the Saints.
No. Okay, let's talk fantasy for them. I'll go first here. And Chris Olave. I think his ADP with how bad this offense could be one of the worst investments you can make. He's going 29th overall. Mm-hmm. There's just guys who are going around him who I'd much rather take a flyer on, just because a general belief of mine is that good offense, more consistent players.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. I like Chris Olave. I like his talent. I don't know when he gets a better situation.
You know what he's reminding me of? And people are going to hate when I say it. Scary Terry. He's reminding me a little bit of that guy where, like, you don't really see it's two things. An organization, when they lose a good quarterback, they don't know how to rebound. Redskins, whatever the name is, football team, Commanders, have messed up the whole career of Terry. Obviously, this year might be different. But so far, the Saints have not done anything for this young, talented first-round wideout.
Nope.
And like you said, why would a quarterback want to be there? There's no young pieces besides him. You don't go there for. I mean, he's a good player, but you don't see Dak Prescott going next. Oh, I want to team up with Chris Olave and just Olave. Right. They got to surround this team. But back to Olave, I take DK Metcalf. Just in guys in that ADP area, Metcalf. I take Devonta Smith over him. There are a lot of guys with better situations, better quarterbacks who I take over him.
Let's talk about two guys we talked about this show: Chris Godwin and Deontay Johnson. Let's do a keep cut trade.
Okay.
Johnson.
This is for 1 year standard.
Standard. Deontay Johnson, Chris Olave, Chris Godwin.
Well, don't kill me. I'm trading Olave. You can get like I said. There's a team out there who's gonna love them. A 24-year-old wideout who can do a lot of shit.
First round guy. Yeah.
Keeping Godwin. I'll cut Deontay. Oof. I love Godwin this year.
Yeah.
I call him a league winner earlier.
I'm probably keeping Deontay. Cutting Godwin.
Honestly, you can switch. I don't really care. Those two are good seasons.
I think Deontay. I would do it because I think Deontay has a clearer path toward a number one.
What's hurting Olave?
Target share.
It's just Derek Carr.
Oh yeah, it's Derek Carr.
That's just what you don't.
And then if he goes down, Taysom Hill's your guy. So,
Jameis Winston leaving is bad for fantasy wise. Yeah.
Okay, that's our preview for the NFC South. Fun division, interesting division. I think teams going in different directions, but fun nonetheless. We're going to make our picks to who's going to win the division and then get the guys' picks when they get back. Also, we still need to share our NFC North picks, so we'll share those while we get back. I'll shut this.
Okay. I'll start with the bottom.
Yeah.
Saints. Arse. Yes. Total arse.
I'm there with you.
Number 3, the Carolina Panthers. Mm-hmm. Better. 6 games, 7 games, like I said. Number 2, Atlanta Falcons until they prove it. And number 1, the safe pick, the Bucs.
Okay, same, but I'm flipping those top 2. I got the Falcons number 1. I think younger, better weapons, better coaching, and most likely a better quarterback. I have the Falcons number 1, Bucs at number 2. But I think they're going to fight down to the wire, those two teams, to win division. It'll
be fun next year when Shedeur Sanders is on the Saints, though.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's our show today, guys. Thanks so much for joining us for episode 137. Next week, we'll be back with another mock draft. The professor, DA in the house on Monday to mock draft with us. That'll be a lot of fun. Of course, AJ and Gabe back there at the producer's desk. And then next week, also previewing the AFC North, maybe the best division in football. You're going to want to make sure you are subscribed, ready, getting these episodes on time. Football season's coming. Let's get ready. You ready?
I'm very ready.
You're back in camp. Time for football, baby. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Bye.